Lesson 329. I have already chosen what you will. We are in the special thought, what is creation? And these 10 classes which we are doing here, 10 lessons which we're doing here with the Course in Miracles, they are really amazing because they're really showing us how to create or how to co-create with God. And the whole world is busy about how to manifest, and how great a manifester are you, and about willpower and all these kind of things. And the Course in Miracles is saying, if you are trying to manifest without acknowledging the Creator, first of all, it's going to be very hard for you, and second, you're straining yourself, and you are actually not creating, but making things with your own force, with the ego. In the Course in Miracles, it says that quote which always resonates in my mind: why would you fly with the wings of a sparrow when you have got the wings of an eagle at your disposal? Welcome to the Qigong support for A Course in Miracles students. My name is Judith, and this is part of the Lucid Mind Center, a virtual online center, if you will, for retraining the mind, which I started in 2010, 2011, as a result of wanting to transmit everything I had learned with the Course in Miracles, and as a Monroe Institute facilitator, where we're using binaural beats to getting into deep expanded consciousness. It's only after I actually started teaching Qigong that it all fell into place and that it all now makes sense. And the building the project has basically started about a couple of years ago when I developed the Spanish Qigong channel, and now this Course in Miracles Qigong channel. And the reason why this is called Qigong support for A Course in Miracles students is because I'm going to guide you to Qigong classes which are specially recorded for the special thought, or particularly suitable for this lesson, for you to internalize and understand what this lesson is trying to teach us, and really actually experience it as much as you can in a seated or moving meditation. Let's begin reading this lesson together, and I'm going to give you more information at the end. Lesson 329. I have already chosen what you will. Father, I wandered from your will, defied it, broke its laws, and interposed a second will more powerful than yours. This is our world, the manifestation, the secret as well. The famous book, The Secret, is also kind of doing the first part of the wishing power. As, yeah, you can wish that and you can manifest that, but actually missing the point that this first part, this is the first step, this is actually just to learn how the mechanism works. And then once you have learned the mechanism, once you have tested it, as it is been suggested in lesson 2 lessons ago by the Course, once you tested it and understood how it works, then you're actually supposed to remember what the true will of yours is, and then use this mechanism to apply it. The same as you have to learn to walk and then to run if you actually want to run this marathon. There's a mechanism, there is a method to it. So, Father, I wandered from your will, defied it, broke its laws, and interposed a second will more powerful than yours. Yet what I am in truth is but your will, extended and extending. This am I. I am the will of God, and this will never change. As you are one, so am I one with you. So this is also the question of the dimensions. There's people always talking that you have to go back into, you have to rise up into higher dimensions and to understand and come closer to God. But as a matter of fact, this is the wrong direction. The right direction is to sink back into the dimension number 1. Become one. Unite yourself with the Creator, the one dimension, the one source. And all thoughts are emanating from that source in the form of energy. In Qigong we call it Qi. In our language we call it thoughts or energy. But the source is one, it is still, and we want to return into stillness. And from this stillness, we want to co-create with God. We want to start thinking and willing and desiring and wishing together with that one God, with that one Creator, with that one source. Yet what I am in truth is but your will extended and extending. This am I, and this will never change. As you are one, so am I one with you. And this I chose in my creation, where my will became forever one with yours. That choice was made for all eternity. I cannot change and be in opposition to itself. I cannot be in opposition to myself, nor can you. Do you remember we were talking about that you think that you're not worthy? You are worthy because you are the one. You are the source. And what we are doing when we are sinking back into ourselves, we are sinking back into source, and we are claiming back the home, and we are trying to remember who we truly are, because you cannot stand against yourself. This is who you are. But no matter which religion I have studied, not one of them told us that. Not that way, not as clear as the Course in Miracles. That this is a godsend. And it's a godsend that you have chosen to read this and come all this way to study that. That means that you are one of the ministers of God, because you're actually choosing to read this, think about it, spread the idea with your awareness. And this I chose in my creation, where my will became forever one with yours. That choice was made for all eternity. It cannot change and be in opposition to itself. It cannot change and be in opposition to itself. The will cannot change. The choice cannot change. Our lesson is, I have already chosen what you will. Father, my will is yours, and I am safe, untroubled, and secure in endless joy, because it is your will that it be so. And if this is God's will, then this is also our will, that we be safe, untouched by any kind of crazy things which we imagine that is possible. This is part of this world which is fearful and full of ego, the false world, if you want to call it, or the Maya, or the illusion, as the different religions may call it, or hell. You see, this is the world where you have to watch out and be afraid and pay things back to people, and all this madness which we have grown up with and lived for probably the majority of our life with, and still do. When we are not reading the Course in Miracles, still when we go out and something happens, we fall back into this ego world. It's difficult for us to see the real world. But that's what we really want. We want to see the real world. The choice was made for all eternity. It cannot change and be in opposition to itself. Father, my will is yours, and I am safe, untroubled, and serene in endless joy, because it is your will that it be so. I think I read serene before as secure, but no, it says serene. And I am safe, untroubled, and serene in endless joy, because it is your will that it be so. And the additional explanation goes like this. Today, we will accept our union with each other and our source. We have no will apart from His, and all of us are one, because His will is shared by all of us. Through it, we recognize that we are one. Through it, we find our way at last to God. And this is so logical, because if I remember that I am one with God, and you remember that you are one with God, we are one. There you have got the Holy Trinity again. You see, the Holy Trinity is the triangle, the Holy Triangle, really. And the explanation of the God, the Holy Spirit and the Son, this Holy Trinity. This is just one version of the Holy Trinity. The Tao, the Yin and the Yang, is also a Holy Trinity, or the Yin and the Yang returning back to oneness. This is also a Holy Trinity. It is the oneness, division into duality, and returning back into oneness. That is also a Holy Trinity. So it is about the Trinity, which is the holiness, the three-step process: the oneness, division into into duality, and returning into oneness. I want to talk with you about jealousy and envy. It's because it's such a futile thing. Because if you, for example, jealous of somebody, or you maybe fall in love with a person who is actually not available, somebody else, it is somebody else's partner. It is actually quite silly to want to experience this relationship with that person, because you are already experiencing the relationship with that person as that person's partner. So it is just, you're just momentarily in time separate from this experience. But once we are returning back into oneness, you're going to be free to experience this relationship with this person. You both most likely will, because the desire has been expressed. It says it in the Course in Miracles, the whole life has already been lived. And what we're doing here, we are reliving it. So if you're reliving your life, you can relive any other life as well. This is the logic. So that's why jealousy and envy is totally futile, because if there is this one person who has got much more than you, relax. You can experience that later on. Now what you're doing, you're experiencing the life of who you are right now. I'm experiencing the life of Judith. You experience the life of whoever you are. And that is a life worth living. This is a life worth to make the best possible out of that particular life, whatever the life is. It is necessary, because your life matters, because you are meeting people every single day. You have got children, you have got parents, you have got siblings, you have got working colleagues, you have got people who are serving you, supermarket, hospitals, insurance companies, wherever, and you are serving people. So you matter. You're a very important cog in this machinery. And depending on how enlightened, if you want to use this word, of how much you understand who you truly are, then you are giving permission to all these people you're meeting day in, day out, to maybe question if their ego state of mind is a desirable one. You see what I mean? And another thing I want to talk with you about is the wishing and willing process of how this works. You cannot wish for other people. You can only wish for yourself. You can only desire for yourself. It's about desiring to see things differently. It is not to say, I want this war to be stopped. It is more about, I wish to see this war differently. I wish to see it from a different angle. Not, I want this war to stop, because then you are attaching your mind to the war. You're giving it more energy. You're giving more energy to the war. What you have to give your energy to is the peace. You have to give your energy to the opposite. So if the war is the dark side, the negative, then you have to give your attention, and it's gone too big. It's spread too big. So you have to give your attention to the positive. So your desire has to be, let me look at this war in a different way. You see? It is about this deciding where you are going to put your attention and your focus on. I have already chosen what you will. I have already chosen to be the will of God, because that happened in the creation. That happened, this was the agreement. This is the first agreement we made with our Creator the moment He had the thought. He said, you are my will, therefore I am your will too. Here you go. Now you can think just like me. Let's see, there you go. Go ahead now and see what you want to do with it. And what we did, we say, okay, well, I want to be God. because I can't. So then we created ourselves a universe where we can play God. And we're reliving this in every single birth. You've got the mother-father situation, misunderstood their role, and they think that they can punish their children to death. There was one in England just recently where I watched and read the story. It's not to focus on him and say, oh God, what a terrible father. Rather to ask God or ask your higher self, please let me look at this from a different angle. Let me see the light in all this madness. I hope this makes any sense. So with all this, what I have just said, let's read the whole lesson again. Lesson 329. I have already chosen what you will. Father, I wandered from your will, defied it, broke its laws, and interposed a second will more powerful than yours. And one more thing I want to tell you about that sentence. You see, everything that is happening in the world, all the good things, but also all the terrible things, it is what we are doing. I am doing it. I am doing it in a different expression, not only the good things. No, it doesn't work that way. This is the human experience. And in the human experience, there is yin and yang in balance. That is what we're doing here on the earth. And if the negative has gone out of balance, the darkness has gone out of balance, then we have to bring back the light. And it's gone out of balance. So what we have to focus on is on the light. And every person which is doing something terrible, remember that they are actually also you. They can't remember it, but we got to remember it. We got to remember, oh, hang on a minute, this is also me there. Now look crazy what I've done there. That's actually me. And that's why it says here, I have done all crazy things. Father, I wandered from your will, defied it, broke its laws, and interposed a second will more powerful than yours. Yet what I am in truth is but your will, extended and extending. This am I. Extended and extending. That's what I am. And to be this humble self, to be this saint and say, oh, I am such a great person. Look how great I am. And this person is terrible. This is not helping. No. Because you are then dividing. You don't want to divide. You want to unite. You want to take this person in. You know, there's those people who are taking those ones which have sinned, also being there for them. Understanding that we are really all one. And that one has done us a few crazy things because he's forgotten who he is. But then again, most likely his life has put him into this situation in a kind of a way that he couldn't see nothing any other way. That doesn't excuse that doesn't make it right, the mistakes which he has made. But what it does require of us is to see the light within that person too. Focus on the light. Father, I wandered from your will, defied it, broke its laws, and interposed a second will more powerful than yours. Yet what I am in truth is but your will, extended and extending. This am I, and this will never change. And this will never change. As you are one, so am I one with you. So when you are one with that one with God, and I am one with God, you and me are one. And this I chose in my creation, where my will became forever one with yours. That choice was made for all eternity. So there's no difference now than it was in the past, nor what's going to happen in the future. It's always the same situation. And we always want to return back to oneness, past the yin and yang, return back into unity. As you are one, so am I one with you. And this I chose in my creation, where my will became forever one with yours. That choice was made for all eternity. It cannot change and be in opposition to itself. Father, My will is yours, and I am safe, untroubled, and serene in endless joy, because it is your will that it be so. Wonderful. So in the Qigong class, I'm going to ask you to read the idea. I have already chosen what you will, and the prayer. If you're doing a generic Qigong class, or if you're doing some other kind of meditation, once you have sunk deep within, then open up the book, read the idea, read the prayer, breathe it in, and then continue with your meditation and expand it into your awareness. And then also ask for your higher self, the Holy Spirit, to help you understand it, to help you experience this. I have already chosen what you will. And the additional explanation says, today we will accept our union with each other and our source. We have no will apart from His, that source. And all of us are one because His will is shared by all of us. There is not one of us better than the other. The only difference, as I have already mentioned before, the only difference is that some of us are beginning to remember and some of us not yet. But the more of us remember, the faster the process is going to go. This is going to be, we influence each other. So that's why we gotta hold the vision. We gotta see the light. We gotta keep the light within our mind, because our mind is on a different level than the human experience itself. This is another trinity there. You have got the body, which is within the mind, and the mind is within the spirit. That is a hierarchy. So the body, if you wanted to put it in Qigong terms, the body is experiencing the 1,000 things which are based on the 5 elements. And the 5 elements, according to Qigong, they are placed into those 5 organ systems. And the negative emotions, they attach themselves to either one of those 5 organ systems, hiding the virtues of the elements. So we want to undo the negative thoughts, which are creating strange emotions in our being. We want to get rid of those thoughts, uncover the virtues, return back into yin and yang, see that this is a yin-yang situation here. So when we are undoing fear, we uncover inner peace and wisdom. So we want to return back into that wisdom, and from that wisdom we want to return back into our true self, which is really unconditional love, which is love really, which is light, which is the oneness, which is our creator. You see? So we want to undo all this and return back into who we truly are. We have no will apart from His. So today we will accept our union with each other and our source. We have no will apart from His, and all of us are one because His will is shared by all of us. Through it we recognize that we are one. Through it, through that will of His, and through that will of our true self, we recognize that we are one. Through that will, we find our way at last to God. And the church bell is ringing. Through that will, we find our way at last to God. Isn't that beautiful? It is about experience. So I'm inviting you straight away into the Qigong classes. I think this standing Qigong class could be very interesting for you today. And this seated Qigong class, I suggest you do the reading of what creation is with me. And here you have got a whole list of Qigong classes if you would like to do another one. Love, light and Qi to you.